Welcome back to another exciting episode of Latinos Who Thrive. I'm your host, Victor Escalante. This week, we're thrilled to have two esteemed guests, Jose Monterrosa and Michelle Wickmanby, joining us. Jose and Michelle are here to share their expertise on leveraging the flywheel technique to excel in sales and marketing. Join us as they unravel the secrets behind this innovative approach and shed light on how to propel individuals to thrive in the competitive landscape of sales and marketing. Through their experiences and insights, they'll provide invaluable tips and strategies for leveraging the flywheel technique to achieve success in these fields. Get ready for an enlightening discussion packed with practical advice and actionable steps, a deep dive into this week's episode of Latinos Who Thrive. So let's get on with it. And we are back, friends, with Victor Escalante Live, another show where we bring you a very timely and interesting topic, breaking the code, strategies for attracting clients using the flywheel marketing model. We have with us our resident marketer, Jose Monterrosa with Imagina Communications. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you again for the invitation. This is the happiest month of the year. So yes, we're going to have a happy conversation today about how to attract customers.
And we have, of course, Michelle Wickmanby, who is also a friend of the show. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Victor. It's nice to be back. And I agree with Jose. This is the best time of the year and a great time to be thinking about your marketing for 2024.
Absolutely. We have done extensive research, friends. If you work in sales, if you work in advertising and marketing, this is a must for you to watch. Maybe even I would go so far as to say, watch it again, because we're going to unpack a lot of very valuable information for you. So why don't we go ahead and get started? To begin with, Jose, why don't you go ahead and give us a context for today's conversation in relation to last week's?
Absolutely. And so last week we talked broadly about the flywheel, right? Today we want to talk about a specific stage of the flywheel, and that is the one that with the name of attract, which is basically how to gain customers, right? How to get those consumers into the door or to try our products. But before getting into those details, maybe just give a little bit, for those that didn't watch the show last week, maybe just give them a little bit of context about the flywheel. This is a concept that was basically generated decades ago, but it was brought into the business environment by a guy named Jim Collins, and he wrote a book called The Good to Great. That book is basically where he introduces the concept of flywheel into the business environment. Now, years later, HubSpot took that concept and reintroduced the concept of the flywheel more to the marketing and sales field. And that's what we are talking about today, the flywheel that was generated by HubSpot. So to understand the flywheel, we need to have clarity on three basic concepts. One is about adding force. The second one is about minimizing friction. And the third one is about gaining momentum, right? So they talk about how to push a metal wheel so it can start rotating. And it takes a lot of effort for that wheel to start, going in circles to the point that you make a 360 and you're trying to minimize the friction as the wheel turns. And the idea is that the wheel will gain momentum and it start turning by itself. That is the most simple way to understand the basic concept behind the flywheel. But the flywheel that HubSpot has basically introduces 3 or 4 components. One is the attract. That is the first one. The second one is the engage. And the third one is delight. If we cover those 3 stages based on the model, we should gain momentum on our sales for a specific product or a specific service. So let's talk about the attract stage a little bit more. Attract, as the name implies, is about bringing customers into our to buy our product, to buy our service. This is the initial stage of the flywheel. This is how we start to build that relationship with customers and consumers. So any business can expect this to be the stage in which they are doing heavy investment on research and marketing. Now, why is important to do research on this stage? Well, multiple reasons why you want to do that. But basically the most important one is that you want to nail down who your customer, who your consumer is. And for that, there's no other solution than doing research. So we want to understand what problem we are solving. And that is basically understanding where the gap in the market is and how our product and service is to provide a solution to that problem. We need to have clarity on that. Otherwise, we're going to be shooting in the dark, right? We also need to understand what variables on that product in that service will be basically driving sales. So in the past, we talked about coin joy analysis, which is basically trying to, if we have a cell phone, we need to know what features on that cell phone make it unique and will drive people to buy it, right? So that is another thing that we need to have clarity on. We also need to have clarity on the value proposition, right? What are the benefits associated with the product and service that we are trying to promote? Where are the potential clients located? You know, if this is a business in the Houston area, are they located throughout Houston, or are there specific areas in the Houston area where those customers are located at?
Let me unpack some of what you already said to make it very practical in the viewers' minds. So this is, you're talking about marketing 101, and we had the gentleman who he's a market researcher talk about how when he approaches a client who has a specific need for research, there is extensive work that goes into that in creating all those elements that you just described for us. Now, in the old days, how did brands attract customers? And one of the brands that comes to mind is, I believe, is there's Famous Amos. Do you guys remember the other famous cookie company that got started in a mall, and they started sampling pieces of cookies, and that's how they built their brand, by sampling, again, attracting interest in the product by going out into the hallways of the mall and attracting interested people to taste their cookie. I believe it was, I'll have to look it up, but if you guys don't remember the brand.
Well, sampling is part of the research process, right? I mean, it's maybe for some companies it may not be official, but sampling is research. We want to make sure
effectively in market in food markets, as well as the big shopping clubs like Sam's Club and Costco, to where you have brands that are sampling their product, or they're pitching you something else because, again, they want to attract your interest.
Sure, and they may be doing sampling if they are located at a grocery store. They may be doing sampling just to generate trial on the product, right? But before that, sampling is a valid research technique that can be used. And so thank you for bringing that up. Now, in the process of doing sampling, you also need to understand who your customer is, right?
Yes.
And for many companies, or maybe one of the best practices that is being used lately, and by lately, I'm going to go back to maybe 7 years, right? Is developing personas.
Yes.
This is primarily useful for social media purposes. We want to, hypothetically, in the research process, we want to put a face, and we want to put the demographics, and we want to put the lifestyle of those individuals, so we can have a better mind map of who these people are, where they are located, what specifically we are approaching with them. Another thing that needs to happen on that attract stage, on the initial steps of the attract stage, is to understand what the narrative is going to be. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Michelle is going to touch on the content aspect of the attract stage. But we need to know what the main message is going to be and what are those narrative themes associated with that main message. Because maybe that's what we are going to be using on social media platforms, on blog posts. We're going to be telling the story of this product and how this product is solving a problem, right? So that is extremely important. And the other part is understanding your competitors. And for this, there are multiple frameworks of the things that you can do from the research point of view. That can be a SWOT analysis, that can be a perceptual analysis, which is basically directing you to understand how your product is positioned against your competitors in the market, and also understand the growth matrix. We have talked in the past about the cash cows, right? And the star products, the ones that are basically rising. We need to understand where our product fits into that matrix. So there are different ways to analyze the competition. I just mentioned 3 different frameworks that can help you in that. Now, a good example of how things can go bad if you don't do your research up front before engaging customers is the Coke example. I think this happened in 1985 when Coke basically, introduced a new flavor of Coca-Cola, and people, I obviously they did their research, but maybe they didn't realize how emotionally attached people were with that original taste of Coca-Cola, to the point that people demanded that the old product be brought into the market.
Let me share something interesting with you related to that story. I had a client that was district manager for Coke when that happened. Okay. She told me that people were stockpiling in their garage the old Coke when news got out that it was going to be phased out. That's how important the consumer considered the old Coke to the new recipe that was coming out. And the reason, from a psychological perspective, the reason that it was a disaster was that America's personality filter or analysis for products is always new and improved. New and improved. New and improved is the concept of same but improved. Now, the Coke strategy was totally different. It's like there was no continuity to the old, and they were going totally with a brand new product, and that's why the marketplace rebelled, because it was new and improved. That's why Procter and Gamble always come out with a new and improved version of Cheer. It's the same old Cheer. Okay. Now they may add different features to it, but it's still the same old Cheer that you always bought. But if you keep selling the same old Cheer, again, the market is going to level out, and that's why they always have to come out with new and improved. So that's my input related to that. But that's an excellent example of how market research got it totally wrong as best as they could. And the CEO at the time had enough common sense to bring back Classic Coke. They rebranded Classic Coke, and sales spiked even higher than what they were before they rolled out the new Coke.
They generated a problem, and they probably found a solution very quickly and boosted sales, right? Finding a solution to the problem.
Some people would say that was a conspiracy.
Yes.
All along to disrupt the market, generate a lot of attention, and then revert back to the old Classic Coke. Michelle, you were going to say something.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, so there's always been that competition between Coke and Pepsi.
Yes.
So when this mistake happened and they brought back the original Coke, that launched them into being the leading soft drink again.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it was a mistake. It was a mistake, but in the end, it ended up being better for them.
Yes.
You're listening to Latinos Who Thrive with special guests Jose Monterrosa and Michelle Wickmandy. We'll be right back. Are you ready to unlock your full potential and embark on a journey of limitless knowledge and boundless creativity? Look no further than Wizard Academy, where dreams become reality. At Wizard Academy, they are not just a school, they're a community of visionaries, dreamers, and achievers. Whether you're a student, a working professional, or someone looking to reinvent yourself, Wizard Academy has a place for you. I know because I'm a graduate of the World Changers class of 2007 when I worked in print media. Imagine being guided by industry experts where innovation knows no bounds and where your passions are transformed into skills. Their cutting-edge programs span technology, business, arts, and more. You'll discover the magic within you and you wield it with confidence. At Wizard Academy, they embrace diversity and creativity, and they celebrate your unique journey. So be sure to join them in the heart of innovation where the extraordinary becomes ordinary. Visit them at www.wizardacademy.org now to explore their lineup of courses, faculty, and the incredible success stories of this community. Your future is waiting. Unleash your inner wizard today. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Do you want to stand out from the crowd and make a lasting impression? Then look no further. Introducing the ultimate game changer, the Escalante Public Speaking Mastery Course. In today's competitive world, effective communication is the key to success. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, the ability to speak confidently and persuasively is a game changer. I know, because I have lived through it. That's why the Public Speaking Mastery Course is here to unlock your full potential. The comprehensive course is designed to transform your public speaking skills from good to extraordinary. I will be guiding you through a step-by-step process, helping you overcome stage fright, craft compelling messages, and deliver impactful presentations. When I took the Dale Carnegie School of Public Speaking and Human Relations, it changed my life, and I will be able to help you do the same. My career in journalism and training and development was built on having the skills to be able to communicate to a team or thousands. I hold nothing back. I will give you all my trade secrets and how you can thrive and crush it. Imagine walking into a boardroom and captivating your audience with your powerful presence. Picture yourself confidently leading meetings, delivering persuasive pitches, and commanding attention in every interaction. With a Public Speaking Mastery Course, you'll be equipped with the skills to excel in any professional situation. If you're ready to take the step and supercharge your career, enroll in the Public Speaking Mastery Course today. All the information and the cost is in the show notes. Don't let fear hold you back. Unlock your potential, elevate your career, and become a master of public speaking. Go to the show notes to register today to secure your spot in the next session of Public Speaking Mastery Course. Public Speaking Mastery Course, empowering professionals, transforming careers. Act now and make a lasting impression in every opportunity that comes your way. You will be glad you did, and you will thrive for the rest of your life. We now return you to Latinos Who Thrive with special guests Jose Monterrosa and Michelle Wickmandy.
Us marketers know that there are no mistakes in sales and marketing. You just pivot. Whatever happens, you just pivot and you spin it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We can go to the next slide, I guess. There you go. Michelle, you want to take it over?
What should your content strategy be?
Okay. So Jose touched on the importance of knowing who your audience is, and I can't I completely agree with that. So first and foremost, make sure you know who it is that you're talking with, And in terms of putting that persona together, definitely know who the person is. It helps to know what their pain points are. What is it they're looking for? What type of content do they gravitate to? And knowing something about likes, dislikes, and things like that. When I think about writing content for somebody, it also helps to have that picture. And so your content comes across as if you're actually having a conversation with somebody as opposed to talking to your audience. So that persona is extremely important. Next, in terms of for our content strategy, make sure you know what your goals are. Understand why you're creating the content and what your goals are. So is the goal to have your content drive traffic to your website? Is it to drive people to a landing page for them to sign up or to purchase a product? Know what your customer needs, know what their pain points are, and then tailor that content to satisfy their needs. And it sounds easier said than done. We actually have to put a lot of work into it to truly understand what the customer needs at that point in time. And do we need to create a blog post? Do we need to create an article? Do we need to create ads? So there's a variety of different content that we can produce to help satisfy the customer's needs, to help to close that gap. Jose, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I just wanted to maybe just highlight the fact that, we need to include social media, obviously, into this. And many times what happens is that, you will develop content for a blog post, right? But that you can break it down into different social media posts. So you can extend the life of that specific content that you're sharing on your website through social media. And there are different things that you can play with that content, either by probably adding photographs, adding videos, adding infographics. Again, this is just to enrich that content that has been generated for web purposes, but you, in a way, are restructuring that content and start sharing it on social media platforms in different ways, pretty much.
Jose, I want to get your opinion. What you're describing is a drip strategy. Why is drip strategies now required in the new marketplace as opposed to just putting a blog post that is full and rich of information?
Well, I think that if you have clarity on what those narratives need to be, and what is the goal of that specific blog post that fits into a predefined narrative, then you can think about, how can I maximize the exposure of this content that I just generated and start using it in the different channels, right? We know that maybe 1,000 or 2,000 word white paper is not going to be a fit for social media, but we can take that, maybe we can separate that into 10 or 7 different sections that we can share on social media platforms and have that drip effect that you're mentioning, Victor, on social media platforms. But I guess the point is, okay, so we have this white paper. Can we convert that into a blog post? Can we convert that into a press release? Can we convert that into a YouTube video? Can we convert that into a social media post that can be used on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, or Twitter, whatever you're using, right? Is being strategic and at the same tactical about how you think about content that is being generated.
And in the old days, it required teams. Now, talk about how AI has eliminated research and teams to be able to do it on the fly.
Yes. Again, AI to me continues to be a tool that can help you think rapidly about how to structure your content, right? And how to customize it to different platforms. It can definitely help a lot.
So I don't want to lose the train of thought, because again, listeners, you first have to start with the premise of what problem are you solving? What is the price point that your product or service is offering the consumer? Who is your audience, so that you can attract that next step, which we're going to go into next. Engage.
Right. Oh, best practices for inbound marketing. This is your slide, right, Michelle.
The other thing, though, Victor, that I need to add about going back to the previous slide is to make sure to do a content audit, and then making sure that you take an audit of what content you have. Try to look at the gaps, and then the other thing that I do is I do a competitive content analysis. So I take a look at what I have, and then it's also important to see what your competitors are producing and see if there's those gaps. So if you align with your competitors, or if you don't align with your competitors, and then start asking the questions, maybe do I need some more white papers because my competitors have an entire library, or do I need more blog posts? So I find that doing these audits is very beneficial as well.
And of course, you can use AI to analyze that content, right? And let AI tell you, or at least give you a hint of what is working. If you find one content that is working really well for one of your competitors, maybe you want to look at the source code of that content on a specific page, drop it on ChatGPT or whatever you're using, and let the system analyze it, because it's going to give you some hints of what is working for that specific content. So that's another trick that
you're an evil marketer, Jose.
Completely valid. Yeah, another free tool that you can use if you're going right from the beginning and you're doing some web scraping, is I like to use Screaming Frog, and that's a free tool for web scraping. It's limited. The free version, of course, is limited, but there are some free tools available that will help you start developing your content strategy. And then if you feel that you need to dive deeper, there's some paid tools as well. So best practices for inbound marketing, of course, again, we start with our customer. We think about where they are in the process. If we are at the attract stage, the engage stage, or the delight phase, but we're talking today just about the attract stage. So thinking about how do we need to frame our content? What type of content do we need to produce in order to attract them and capture their attention? In many cases, during the attract stage, our customers are looking for information. They're at the very top of the funnel. Previously, we would have called it a sales funnel, and we would have thought about the gaining attraction at the very top. So at this point, it's very important to have things like social media posts, to have blog posts, give them a taste of the information that they're looking for and make it very desirable. And that making it desirable from the onset will help to pull them through the funnel.
Because your process is already in motion. It's already spinning. And you've got the traction in the marketplace through consumers that are talking about your product or service. And so rather than starting at the top, it's like they're engaging with you at a point that there's a desire to engage with a brand that is offering what they need. And so they're not starting in rotating the momentum. It's like they're attracted to your momentum because of what you're doing in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
is
Make sure you meet them where they are and give them the right content and keep that conversation. Build on that foundation, on that relationship, strengthen it with more content. Share those reviews, give them bite-sized content and give them full content like in blog posts. Jose, you have something to say?
no. You both touch on the fact that there's an intent on the consumer or customer ends to find information related to that specific topic, right? So inbound marketing is pretty much putting the information in their face. Here it is. You can go this way to my website because that's where you're going to find, or my social media platform, because that's where you're going to find that additional information that you're looking for. But the premise is that there is an intent on their end to find information related to what they're looking for, and that is the success story of Google, right? And Google AdWords. There's an intent from the user because they are doing a search themselves, right? They're trying to find something, and when they do the search and they find your website or your landing page, then you have accomplished the whole idea behind inbound marketing.
Okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
Analytics.
So why is measurement important and analytics so important? Well, we need to understand what is working and from what is not working. And we need to ask the questions, why is one piece of content working and maybe another piece of content is not working as we expected? So now we start to dive deep into analyzing this content, because the whole purpose of this program is to make sure that we are attracting the right customers and we are feeding them the right information at the right time to establish and strengthen these relationships. And the only way that we're going to know that is by looking at the metrics. Jose, go ahead.
Yeah, so we mentioned at the beginning the three key components of the flywheel, right? The force that needs to be generated, the friction that happens into that circle effect that takes place, and gaining the momentum. To me, the analyzing the metrics or reviewing the metrics of whatever content you're sharing is you're trying to minimize the friction so that wheel gains momentum. So that is why I think it's extremely important. If you believe in the concept of flywheel, it's extremely important to understand that looking at the analytics and connecting the importance of analytics with minimizing friction is extremely important. And especially if your end goal is to gain momentum, then you know that this is a step that needs to take place, I think.
Talk about the typical friction points that companies face, Jose, because I can think of a lot, but I want to pick your brain.
Typical friction points?
Yeah, typical friction points.
Yeah, well, I think that in the previous show we talked about those individuals that are trying to get an answer for a specific question that they may have about the product that they already bought from you. But it's 7 p.m., it's 8 p.m., and you don't have a 24/7 service that can answer those questions. That is generating friction. And we said, I remember that we talked about this, that we have to blame the internet for this, because there is a need to get answers now. I mean, I'm not going to wait for next week. I'm not going to wait for tomorrow, or maybe your guy is on vacation and then he's coming back in 2 weeks. No, my answers need to be approached like right now. Yes. So those are the things that in many cases generate friction. And if you realize that you live in an internet world that is 24/7, then you need to understand that maybe I need to answer this to this guy right now. And, technology allows you to find solutions to that. I mean, it's not like you need to hire a new sales team or customer service team to do that. Yeah.
There's one company that comes to mind, Jose, that they understood this principle, and they are one of the leaders in their market. It's air and heating, air conditioning company, air and heating, air conditioning, and they understood that when your air conditioning breaks, you need a repairman right away. Okay?
Oh yeah, especially in the summer.
Yeah, or a plumber. Imagine having a Christmas party and your plumbing goes out.
Yeah.
So this company, what they did is they created two teams. One, a rapid response team, which the consumer was told that there is an added fee for the rapid response, and of course, again, people don't care, and so they were able to engage with that customer and to be able to make them a satisfied and happy customer for life because of that value added service.
Hey, it sounds like the special forces of plumbing, right?
Yes.
They respond immediately. So
Exactly.
yeah, must be an army guy. Must be a veteran.
I wouldn't put it past them, but they were highly successful with that. In fact, they grew the company so fast that they end up being made an offer to sell the company at a price they couldn't refuse.
Well, they clearly identified the gap.
Well, and they also understood their customers' needs. So step number one, understand the customer.
Yeah.
Well, guys, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there because our time is up and we barely scratched the surface.
We're coming back
on this. So we're going to be bringing you more ideas on what you can do to inject some steroids into your marketing, into your sales, because again, the old way of doing business is gone and it's never coming back. And brands that don't get it are really shooting themselves because they're missing out on a lot of other business that you could be having, but that business is going to your competitors if they're applying the flywheel marketing approach.
Great. Thank you very much.